I am resident of color with Jules Saints for YouTube. That is my buddy Bobby Lugosi. That is my buddy Patrick McCray. That is my buddy Daniel Culver. We are here to talk about Monster Squad, the movie. Stephen Mack is in this. This movie centers around the Universal monsters primarily. We have Dracula is here. The Wolfman is here. Dracula's daughters are here, or whatever, brides, if you will.
Yeah, Joel, I know you're from Pennsylvania, but there's a big difference.
Well, not in PA. Anyway.
Yeah, I know, but for the rest of the country, I'm in Tennessee and we don't make that error.
I'm kidding.
We celebrate it.
I'm kidding. The Mummy is here. Frankenstein's monster is here. Bobby, I have a question for you, and Patrick and Daniel, but Bobby first. Do you think the reason we don't have ghosts in this movie is because we're just centering it around the Universal monsters in a sense?
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
Because all the other characters are Universal monsters, as we're discussing, and then the only other big Universal monster we're really missing is the Invisible Man.
Yep.
Oh, they could have kind of some of that. Oh, he's not. Oh, wait.
You just couldn't see him.
Oh yeah, okay.
And also like ghosts, they don't have they're they don't have a distinct personality the way like Dracula does or Frankenstein does or like the Wolfman does.
Yeah, we even get the creature from the Black Lagoon, which is awesome.
Yeah, he was great too.
Yeah.
I prefer to call him the Man Kraken.
Yeah. He's intimidating in this movie a bit. Patrick, what do you think? Why do you think we have no ghost?
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a movie I have always been told to like. Yeah. I've watched it many times, and there's a lot I really admire about it, but it's not the most original film. It itself is kind of a Frankenstein's monster of a lot of other parts of movies put together.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily bad. You know, if you're a kid in that time and you like monsters, this is kind of like Salem's Lot on a good day. But I think they had borrowed so much. I'm not sure what they would have done with ghosts. Ghosts don't really qualify as monsters. They're objects of horror, but not really, kind of perversions of the flesh, which the rest of them are. Yeah. And so I think, given the success of Ghostbusters just a few years before, that probably was something they were saving for the sequel.
Yeah.
It might have been a quote too far, for the movie.
Yeah, I could see that. Daniel, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I think what you guys are saying, it's basically focused on the Universal monsters, and there's not really a ghost other than the Invisible Man, but really Invisible Man himself is also not a ghost. He's I think in the movie version he was like an experiment went wrong, but I think in the book he purposely became invisible, but I could be wrong about that one.
Yeah. It would have been real interesting if the movie would have ended with everybody leaving the church, like the kids, the army, they all leave, and all of a sudden you hear the voice of Vincent Price. Those fools missed me. That would have been great.
It would have been great.
I agree.
And Vinny was still alive. Well, you know what the last image is. It's as that happens, the cool kid's glasses have been Lincoln. I swear to God, Springfield. That's my only word for you. That the cool kids, Ray-Bans would have been dropped, and you just would have seen them float up into the air and kind of fix on someone's invisible brow.
There you go. That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. Bobby, what did you think of the character of Dracula in this movie?
I really liked him. He was definitely in the Bela Lugosi image. I was curious to know why he didn't have an accent, and because everything else about him is like very based in like the Universal horror. I felt he had really good physical presence, I felt he had really good eyes, and I liked the way they did him. That was the only thing that was missing. I don't even know if that's a complaint. I was just surprised because everything else seemed to be like on the nose.
Yeah, Duncan Peter Reger is a Canadian multimedia artist and actor. He's the guy who plays Dracula in this movie. Tom Noonan is your Frankenstein's monster. Brent Challam is Horace. I'll look at the other monsters. Sorry. Jonathan Grease as Desperate Man, the Wolf Man. Yeah. And but it was Carl Talbot as the Wolf Man. And
that's got to be a stage name.
I don't know.
Carl Talbot.
Tom Woodruff. Tom Woodruff Jr. as Gillman, which I think is the fish face guy.
Creature from Black Lagoon.
Yeah, Michael Reed McKay as the Mummy, and Jack Willem as Abraham von Helsing in this movie. Yeah, but
that Jonathan Grease fellow.
Yeah.
Look up who his dad is. I have a funny feeling he is significant to this conversation.
Okay, let's see.
The Google Master.
Give me 1 second.
Better than giving you a second one. Yeah, I didn't know it would drag this to a halt like this.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
His father is Tom Grease.
Tom Grease. Look what Tom Grease directed.
The Unexpected. Let's see.
Not just that, but a movie you've talked about at least twice.
Twice now.
Will Penny.
Oh, Will Penny. Okay. Damn. So his dad was Hollywood royalty, basically.
Big Heston pal.
Yeah. Now, do you think that's why he got this role, or?
I'm sure there was I'm sure he got his start in movies and in being a stuntman and all this other stuff. I'm sure his dad got him a few gigs. Sure.
Yeah. What did you think of Count Dracula, Patrick, in this movie?
He was dragtastic. He really enjoys dynamite. He's got a thing for explosives.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Duncan, here's your prop. Now take good care of it. Now, the scary old German man, he's the one who's giving Baron Harkonnen all of his various warts and welts and things in Dune. Oh, my lord, you're so grotesque. I love how you look. I think he's that guy.
Yeah. Daniel, what did you think of Count Dracula here?
I thought he was, pretty cool. Like, I would say he's definitely one of the, better portrayed monsters in this.
Yeah. The phone calls from the guy who's going to turn into the Wolfman are fun. He phones from a phone booth and he tears it apart once he turns into werewolf. Then he walks into the police station, lock me up, and gets shot for his troubles. I'm pretty sure he was shot by the L.A. police. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. What did you think of the Wolfman in this movie, Bobby?
I thought he was really cool. I liked how they did the human character, and I thought he had a really cool design. And of course, he inspired one of the famous lines in the movie: "The Wolfman's got nards."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the most. It is the most quoted line in the movie. I think Horace says it. Yeah. Patrick, what did you think of the Wolfman in this movie?
A delight. However, he's awfully obedient as a Wolfman goes. I mean, he follows all of Dracula's orders exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going into those Gainsburgers, but there are a lot of dog owners out there who would like to know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Daniel, what did you think of the Wolfman?
Yeah, I would agree that he was pretty cool and he was portrayed good in this. And like you said, like when he turned and like went to werewolf during when he was in the phone booth, that was pretty good.
Yeah, he's gonna kill your son. Which is creepy as shit. That's one of the most creepiest parts in the movie, in my opinion. But for the Wolfman, I do think we talked about him being obedient to Dracula. If you notice, they have a perfect yin and yang balance between being out of the werewolf and being into the werewolf, where the man's sitting in a chair, he's tied up, and Dracula's drugging him, giving him pills, and he spits the pills out. And he gets himself free because Dracula's down there in a basement feeding off those young girls, and he's going to turn them into vampires, all three of them. We're going to see them later in the movie in the house and outside of it. And that's where he gets out and he goes to the phone booth and he calls the detective Stephen Mack's character. He's like, I'm a werewolf, and he's gonna hang up. Oh, don't hang up. He's gonna kill your son. And it's such a cool scene how they do that too. Speaking of Stephen Mack, this is the only movie I know him from. I've not seen many.
You need to see Galaxina.
I do need to see.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of Stephen Mack here, Patrick?
It's interesting to watch him because you just keep running through your mind what he would have been like as a Picard and in the Picard scene. So I get distracted by that. But he's got a good, rugged presence, an almost Native American look to his features. And really, I think an interesting actor, watchable. Yeah.
He feels like one of those dads who just loves his son, and I like that from this character. That's what makes this character so relatable as a young man when I first watched it, and then now later as a dad, because it's like, man, I have a close relationship with my son, so I love how they do this here. He's late to watching the movie. They're watching a movie on their roof for free, which I love. Bobby, what did you think of Stephen Mack's character here?
I agree. It's such a sweet. In that moment you're talking about how like he gives his son the cheeseburger. Like he stops at the restaurant to make it like special. Like so he's I like him, and I like how it's like a very real, like how he's having marital trouble. He's having so he's not like he has conflict going on with his character, and I feel like you're really like, and he really loves his son. So I feel like he's a really like well fleshed out dad that you care about.
Bobby, when you do that haunted house tomorrow night, you should find a fake stick of dynamite and say, I will use this.
Oh, yeah.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
If you think Dracula's terrifying, Dracula with dynamite.
Yeah. Good job. Good job. Daniel, what did you think of Stephen Mack's character?
Oh, I agree. He's a good character, and like that scene, where he, brought his son food. That was pretty cool, and yeah, like he actually clearly does love his son,
I think that's what makes these characters interesting, because you see the kids being a part of this club, and I love how Rudy gets recruited into the club, and his line later is, I'm a member of the damn club, aren't I? And he shoots the bow and arrow. But you also see the good and the flaws of some of the parents in this movie. And it makes it a little more real when their kids are in danger too, especially with Stephen Mack's character. And the clubhouse has been destroyed by Dracula. I love the line, meeting adjourned. It's really cold and cool. Yeah. And when he goes up and when Stephen Mack's character gets the walkie-talkie, he's hollering for his son. He says, we're in the middle of town, and he knows where to go, by the old church. And it's like, shit's about to hit the fan. I love Stephen Mack's entrance into the whole situation. He's driving his car, and he shoots the bat out of the air with the gun. It's fucking very action-packed. I really love the old creepy house Shadowbrook Road is placed on. very dark shadows-ish in a way. What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah, I agree. It had it was like, it was a perfect Dracula house. It was eerie. As you said, it was very dark. It very much looked like the old house.
Yeah.
Dark shadows. So it was a perfect location for it. And the inside, the set decoration was wonderful. I love how it had the revolving wall. That was a perfect old haunted house thing, and it specifically called back to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Yeah.
How they would do that gag. So it was, I thought the all the scary sets were perfectly done.
Oh yeah. Patrick, what did you think of the house?
I think it's a great piece of set design. I think it's brilliantly atmospheric. I think it was just credible enough, in its dilapidation, but a great springboard for suspense.
Yeah.
I think it's just like you've got the classic Dracula running around in this, at least in a modern day sense. You have the classic haunted house.
Yeah.
That's true.
Daniel, what did you think of the house, man?
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I could see a vampire living in that, definitely.
Definitely, for sure. Even though it's a great set, they take risk with the set by moving all over the place. They're down in the basement. They have the girls locked up in a room, and then they show them later coming out down a long hallway. They make Cy Thomasoff would be very proud because, like, he made the most of his sets. They damn sure made the most of theirs. And I love how they play with it by blowing it up, blowing up the wall, and you see the stuff come crumbling down, and it falls on Frankenstein's monster. There is a scene where right after the Wolfman does get kicked in the nards. That's where the line happens. But yeah, it's a great creepy old house, and it looks really, for a set. We've seen a lot of cool set designs over the years, and this is one of them for sure in this movie. Great job by the set designer. Kudos.
I want to say, and it really adds to the believability of the monsters, especially Dracula, because it's he's the classic Dracula, and he has a classic Dracula castle.
I also love too how the Gill Man, if you will, the fish face, how he first appears out of the water by lifting the box, the Frankenstein's monster, and shows you his strength. It's a really cool jump scare, and it's fun. And you get all the creatures coming together. You get the mummy. By the way, the mummy escaped from the museum, and they talk about, did you hear anybody? They're asking the museum security guard or whoever he is, and he's like, no, nobody coming. And that's where Stephen Mack's character, he goes, listen, dead mummies don't get up and walk around. And well, in this movie they do, son. But
Sure.
It's a real. What did you guys? There's more going off, I guess, a classic mummy, if you want. I wouldn't quite say it's the universal mummy in a sense. It doesn't appear to be. What did you guys think of the mummy in this movie?
I really liked him. I thought it was like definitely like the even though it wasn't exactly universal, it was like this. It was like that kind of idea, like the bandages. And I love when they kill him at the end. How they attach with one of the spears. The bandages get stuck to the tree, and then he and his entire body unwinds.
Yeah. Patrick, what did you think of the mummy?
I thought they got rid of him in a very clever way.
Yeah.
And that I really appreciated.
Yeah. Daniel, what did you think, man?
Oh yeah, I agree. This wasn't exactly, the universal, mummy, but like they did still do a good job. And I agree with Patrick. Like, how they, got rid. Well, how they killed the mummy was pretty creative.
I like the callback we get with Frankenstein's monster to the original, where he sees the little girl, but this time there's no wrangling of the body. She holds his hand, and they become best friends. I love that in this movie. It's one of the most sentimental. There's a lot of sentimental stuff with Frankenstein's monster, and it's really well done. And I love how they show him the mask of himself. And he goes, scary, It's. What did you guys think? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bobby.
You know what I love about it is when you notice in the opening credits, he's billed as Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And then when they're doing the monster rules, it's who's Frankenstein, the monster or the doctor, and they say the doctor, and they call him the monster, but then they're later on they say no, he doesn't like to be called a monster.
Yeah.
So at the end they call him Frankenstein. So it's like so I love how there's a whole character arc starting with his opening credits.
Yeah. Man. It's really cool. Patrick, what did you think?
Of what specifically?
Frankenstein's monster in this. What did you think?
I thought he was very touching.
Yeah.
I think Tom Noonan's an interesting actor. I think he plays the bad guy in Last Action Hero, if I'm not mistaken. And he's this very sensitive, interesting person, and then he brings that to the creature.
That's true.
I think he's also in the Dracula Untold movie. I think.
Is he?
Oh, he
I
might
think
be.
so. I think he plays the vampire in the cave, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh no, that's Charles Dance.
Oh, that's Charles Dance. Okay, my bad. Daniel, what did you think of Frankenstein's monster here?
Well, I like how he was portrayed in this as well. Obviously there's that scene with the little girl. That's obviously a reference to the Universal movie. Throwback. But obviously he has a bond with her, rather than killing her like in the movie. But it's actually interesting because he saw a mask of himself, but in the book he sees himself in the mirror. But obviously for those that don't know, the book version of Frankenstein is a lot different than the movie version.
It definitely is. It definitely is. So we got all the Universal monsters here, except for the Invisible Man, or do we, or don't we? We can have fun with that all we'd like. Who's your favorite character in this movie, Bobby?
Dracula.
There you go.
I think he's so cool. I love the way they introduce him at the castle, and the fingers are coming out of the coffin like a spider, like in the original. And then on the airplane he's on, if you see it, the company is called Browning, and that's named after Todd Browning, the director of Dracula.
Yeah, it is Browning, actually. That's cool. That's cool. Patrick, who's your favorite character? Patrick?
My favorite character overall in the film?
Yeah.
As crazy as it sounds, I like the old German man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
I like his sense of optimism.
I like how they said they were talking to him about monsters. He goes, "I can believe in monsters," and you see the mark where he was in a concentration camp. Yeah. Daniel, who's your favorite character in this movie?
Well, that's a good question. There's so many good characters in this. But I'm gonna go with Frankenstein's monster.
Nice. I'm gonna go with Rudy.
Oh, he's definitely a close second.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
He's stealing stuff from school. He's making the silver bullet. He stole Stephen Mack's wife's the character silverware, the spoons to make the silver bullets. For God's sake, that man went to the extra effort. And then they're questioning what he's doing when he's gonna go kill the 3 vampire women. I'm in the goddamn club, aren't I? Like, yeah, yes you are. Yes you are, sir. So Bobby, when did you first see this movie?
I actually first saw this a couple years ago. I know. I missed it throughout all the years, and then I out of nowhere heard about it, and I watched it. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I first saw this movie on TV.
That's understandable.
Daniel, when did you first see this movie?
Oh, to be honest, this is another one where I saw it today.
Cool. Patrick, when did you first see The Monster Squad?
I saw it on home video directly after it was in the theaters. So whatever its first wave of video watching was, 1980 something. Yeah. That would have been when I first saw it.
Cool. What's in this movie, again, we get a lot of the Universal monsters. Do you guys wish we would have got the Invisible Man in this movie?
No. For me personally, I know that sounds odd, but it's got plenty of monsters.
Yeah, it does.
You see, I like your idea, Jewel, about like him appearing at the end with Vincent Price back, because I think that would have been just like that would have been such a perfect homage to the ending of Abbott and Costello and Frankenstein.
Yeah. And here's the thing: this movie has moments of comedy in it with the kids.
That's true.
I do get this. I do get the sense of why they don't, because why they don't. Again, I love Abbott and Costello meet Dracula, Frankenstein, the Invisible. I love that movie too. It's fun, and it would have been a nice nod to end the movie that way. I do wish a bit we would have got the Invisible Man in a sense. It would have been cool, and if they would have got Vincent Price to do it, hell yeah, I'd have been down for that.
Okay.
What do you think, Daniel?
That's actually a good question because I wouldn't mind him being in this, and for those who haven't seen The Invisible Man, you should totally watch it because it's a pretty good movie and it was pretty well made for its time. But honestly, I didn't even notice he wasn't in this, until you mentioned it.
Yeah, I do love all the monsters we do get. Count Dracula in this, it's not Bela Lugosi necessarily, and it's not Christopher Lee, but Duncan brings his own style to the character, and he does a really great job of playing Dracula, of making himself a menace in this movie in every way. He's not afraid to take risk at all, which he shouldn't be. Mr. Alcard. What did you think of that, Bobby?
I love that. For those who haven't seen the Son of Frankenstein, that's the alias from Son of Frankenstein, and it's since been used as part of the Castlevania series.
Yep.
So that's the famous Dracula alias. So I love that they included that part in there.
Yeah, very, very cool. What did you think, Patrick?
The irony is he never figures out that Alucard is accidentally Dracula spelled backwards. I think I may be the only person to notice that. And I'm sorry if it was a spoiler here. And it's an irony that they should pick this name, and then years later you look at the movie, it's just Dracula spelled backwards. That's what I don't get. Like Dr. Acula. Don't see him as a phlebotomist.
What did you think, man?
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I actually didn't notice that either. Like what Patrick said, yeah. But yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Like that they had that reference.
I'm actually doing this movie again Saturday night with Butch. So this. Patrick's rubbing his eyes. What do you guys give this movie? 1 out of 10, Bobby?
I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it a 9. Like I thought, it did a really great job of balancing comedy with drama and horror. It was funny. The spooky, the scary moments worked, and the characters were dramatic enough where you believed them, but it also had a heightened reality.
Yeah, for sure. Patrick, what do you give it?
An 8. It's a good solid, literally B movie, and an 8, 8.5 is a good B grade. I think, given its roots, etc., I think that's perfect for it.
Yeah. Daniel, what do you give this?
I'll give it an 8 as well, because I'm not really a big fan of horror comedy, but this was actually good, and they, like you said, they did a good job with, using the Universal monsters. Well, I know they weren't exactly like them, but they did a good job for what they had.
Yeah, now, I gotta ask, if you have mixed feelings on horror comedies, have you seen What We Do in the Shadows?
I don't think I have.
Bobby, have you seen that movie?
Yes, I have. I've seen the movie and the show.
I think it's tremendous.
I do too, honestly. I love it.
Yeah, Jewel, have you ever seen it?
I've seen episodes of it.
You've never seen the movie?
No, I've never seen the movie. I've seen some of the show.
It's a good companion to this. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to cover it. We'll have to cover it for sure. We'll have to cover
these guys.
Yeah, with Bobby and Daniel for sure.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Well, there is Bobby. Let me know when you're free because there are 2 movies I want to do, and one with all 3 of you gentlemen, and it is both Vampire Hunter D and Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Both great animated.
Are those Russ Meyer movies?
I don't know. No.
What does the D stand for?
Well, you have to watch the movies and figure.
All right. It's not double D.
I don't know if they're on the internet. I own them on Blu-ray. Both of them. They're great anime features. But yeah, this. You guys want to add any thoughts to this movie, Bobby?
I really, really enjoyed it. I loved how I felt that they did all the characters correctly, especially the monsters. They kind of included like the sort of like the greatest hits approach, like where you got like the gist of every character. Yeah. And I thought the humor was great. Horace was really funny. Like I just thought that it was a really, really like well done, like Goonies meets the Universal Monsters.
Yep. Yeah. I would say if Goonies isn't made, this movie might not get made. Goonies was one of the first real adventure kid movies I saw before I saw this. Great film. Both great.
Jewel, Goonie love for you. Goonie love for me. Yes. Goonie love. It's good enough for me. Yeah. Now, Jewel, I'll tell you what I have to say about this, and it's that. But also, have you ever heard of old Chinese restaurants having an appetizer platter that had a little bit of everything?
I've never been in a Chinese restaurant, so I couldn't say.
Well, you've read stories about Chinese restaurants, though?
No, I haven't.
Like you've watched documentaries, or like, have you ever seen the Chinese have restaurants?
Well, yeah, I know that.
Okay, so we're in agreement. Well, they had this appetizer plate that had a flame in the middle.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah. Do you know what they were called?
No.
The poo-poo platter, Jewel. And this movie is a poo-poo platter of delights, brought to your table steaming and awaiting your eager consumption. Oh, and that's how I feel. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I'm going to give this movie a solid 8.5. It's a lot of fun from start to finish. It doesn't bore you. And there is some comedy with the parents, too. I love how the dad goes, because the kid knocks on the door. He goes, there's a monster in my room. He goes, you, out of here. You monster, out of here. Oh, is there any other monster? He points to the closet, and he opens the closet, and he's like, oh, monster, get out of here. And he goes, listen, you're not laying with me and your mother. If you keep this up, you're not reading any more of those comics. I'm just like, that's so good.
You're not laying with me and your mother? That's a very biblical sounding phrase, Joel. That's disturbed me.
It's in the movie.
Okay.
It's in the movie.
And he did lie with them. Imagine in the voice of Cyndi Lauper, poo-poo love, for you it's poo-poo love, for me it's poo-poo love, it's good enough for me. Don't you remember that Goonies song? Goonie love for you. It was like the hit song of the movie, Goonie Love, by Cyndi Lauper.
I remember Cyndi Lauper at WrestleMania one year. I do remember that.
Oh yeah.
Can you sing True Colors, Jewel?
No, I can't sing worth shit.
Neither can she. All right, continue.
Oh, you don't like Cyndi Lauper?
No, I love Cyndi Lauper. I'm an American. I'm no commie. I hate her father. Wasn't that Lou Albano?
Oh no, that was her boyfriend.
Well,
the boyfriend was Lou Albano. Good Lord.
Oh yeah, that's right. In the video, it was. Yeah, she did. Joel's right. She did. He did play her dad in the video.
Oh.
I know it's weird.
Lou Albano.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was right.
Yeah, Lou Albano played Cyndi Lauper's dad in the video. Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
That was just her
Who
boyfriend
made
in real life.
Lou Albano a captain? I mean, was he Lieutenant Lou Albano for a while? Commander Lou Albano?
He was just called Captain Lou Albano.
Midshipman Lou
He
Albano.
was the manager for the Head Shrinkers. Actually, funny story. That's the guy who broke Kevin Nash into the business. Was Lou Albano, Captain Lou Albano.
One of those naval recruitment campaigns. I think the Navy's reflected better in Final Countdown than by Captain Lou Albano.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. By the way, we're going to leave a link to Girls Just Want to Have Fun, just for the hell of it.
Oh, you want to know something about that song? A lot of people know. Did you know that's actually a cover?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it's actually funny. A guy sang it originally.
It's on one of Leonard Nimoy's albums where he does the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins. And then that. I wish. No.
I think the guy that sang it was named like Robert Hazard or something like that.
Could be. Yeah. Sounds right.
If your last name is Hazard, your first name needs to be something like Rip.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Or Crash.
What makes that even funnier is I saw TikTok and I guess someone made a new cover of that and they said Girls Just Want to Have Fun. They said remember the original. It's like, but Cyndi Lauper didn't originally sing it. The only reason I know is I saw this one video on YouTube years ago and it said like songs you didn't know were covers and that was one of them.
Goni Love. Joel, you should put the video for that.
I will look it up and I will in the description box. It'll be there, baby. It'll be there.
Goni Love. It's good enough for me.
You'd actually be surprised how many songs are covers, to be honest. Like even I've actually found recently Come On Feel the Noise was a cover. Mm-hmm. Apparently it was made in the 70s originally. By a band called Slade.
Yeah, I can see that. I
like the Monkees.
Here's some fun questions. We are getting another Wolfman trailer, or another Wolfman movie by Blumhouse. Have you guys seen the trailer?
I'm gonna go watch it the moment this is over.
I haven't seen the trailer, but I know of the trailer.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. That's what I'll say. So if this movie's a hit, do you guys think we'll get more Universal Monsters movies, or
if this video of us talking about it is a hit?
No. If
people need to click like and subscribe.
Maybe.
Notifications. Joel, I don't know. It just depends on what they do with it, and if it rings a bell with the zeitgeist, and that's so hard to tell.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like if it's successful, I think they will. I feel like because especially now with Universal building Universal's building a new theme park called Epic Universe, and there's going to be Universal Monsterland. Mm-hmm. So I feel like now is like a really great time to promote the classic monsters.
I don't know what people find interesting anymore. Which is reflected in my remarks. But seriously, I think the Wolfman is actually kind of a difficult character to pull off in this era, and I'll tell you why. The way that the Wolfman is generally done is, he goes berserk and runs around and doesn't really have a lot of purpose. I mean, they gave him a little bit more of one in the Benicio del Toro film, but he's just kind of this angry animal, and who can blame him? Because you got to think these are naturally occurring, supernatural cursed creatures of Satan. So they must have like a good day. They must have an average where he just kind of roams around and eats some, were sheep, and it's a good day. So why is he always in such a bad mood? And then when the guy stops being the Wolfman, he's just afraid of being the Wolfman. So we get tired of a villain who can't talk. And then when he can talk, all he wants to talk about is how he doesn't want to be a werewolf. And so then we wait for him to become a werewolf, and then we're stuck with him and he can't talk. It's just this never-ending cycle, Jewel. Someone has to stop the insanity. I'm out of here.
Well,
good night.
That's why I like The Howling. because it's not necessarily the Wolfman. It's the werewolves are more the antagonist in that movie than anything. I don't get me wrong, I love the original Wolfman and stuff, but the Howling was so different, and it brought a different ideal to the werewolf of being this stalker, methodical killer, which I like. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind the other side of the coin either, but I do think you need to find a way of, if a person knows they're a werewolf, either A, they're going to have a conscience about it, or B, they're going to have another kind of conscience about it. You know what? I'm going to use this to my advantage and kill some motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I always like the werewolf, Reverend Lowe in Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
He was interesting. Oh, you know how you just asked about if you thought more Universal monster films would be going. I forget what his name is, but the director of The Conjuring, he's on board for the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, cool. James Wan.
Yeah, James Wan. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, he did Saw originally too.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what he does. Now, do you think, Bobby? Do you think we get another Dracula movie?
I think so. Well, there's been so many recently. I don't see why not.
That's true.
I think we get a Dracula movie. Let's see, what year are we in now? 2024. 2027. We'll get a Dracula movie.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I can see that. And that'd be interesting because that'd be 100th anniversary of the Broadway play.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
There you go.
And actually,
good. No, go ahead.
Oh, actually, in a way, we are getting another Dracula movie recently. Well, soon, but it's kind of depends on what you mean exactly. But we're getting, as you probably know, we're getting another Nosferatu remake, and Nosferatu was actually originally an unauthorized adaptation of Dracula.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, believe it or not, Bram Stoker's widow actually even sued them.
Wow.
Oh, it was a thing. Like, yeah. That's why they changed the name to Count Orlok. But you could see like how because even like the young male lead is named Hutter instead of Harker, and Florence Stoker, she sued them and actually ordered like all prints destroyed. So it's like a miracle that we still have Nosferatu.
Yeah, he's right. That's actually true.
Well, we're getting another one with Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter. So we'll see what.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
You can find some. You can actually find some versions of Nosferatu that have like the original names in them too. They say like where they say Dracula and they say like like Harker instead of Hutter. It's kind of interesting.
Well, on some, I don't know if they'll do it now, but TCM used to show both versions. I don't know if they still do, but they used to, is what I'll say.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
They used to show both versions of Nosferatu.
Don't
know if they still do.
Wasn't the vampire called Dracula in the first remake, actually?
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
yeah, I thought so.
There's been no character more ripped off than Dracula. And look, listen, my favorite superhero, the Shadow, he was taken from Dracula a bit. That's where the black cloak and the dressed in black and hide in darkness and shit. That's where that comes from. This Dracula.
Oh yeah. Also an adaptation is also realistic because as you probably know, Dracula is in public domain now, so you don't have to worry about trademarks. Like I could go and make a Dracula movie if I want to.
Don't better hurry up on that. Don't get sued.
Remember that was years ago though.
Yeah.
And it was in Germany.
There's going to be many links in this in the description box. Obviously, links to Lugosi Theater, links to Daniel Culver's YouTube channel as well, Killenberg, and links to Patrick McRae's Arc Shadows Day Book of Mouse going to be in the description box. And yes, I'm going to go find some music videos. Cyndi Lauper and what's that? Goonie Love, I think Patrick said. So, guys, thank you for joining me and have a good night.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.